Today we're going to do a little bit of an unboxing and a test drive of this Behringer OD300 overdrive and distortion. This is part of a pedalboard build, and I wanted to keep it pretty budget friendly, but still wanted a little bit of a range of distortion to choose from. So we're going to check this out. This is, from what I've read, basically Behringer's take on the Boss OS2 overdrive distortion. And from the reviews that I have seen, it pretty faithfully recreates the tones, and it's just a matter of this is a plastic enclosure and a cheaper switch, and it's just not going to hold up as well as the nice metal Boss enclosure. But let's take a look for ourselves. Product placement. Those are my vinyl picks that I've been selling on Etsy if you want to check them out. And this is our distortion pedal. It's not going to be much here. We've got a pedal. We do have an instruction manual, so let's check that out. Important notes concerning installation. Sound quality may diminish within the range of powerful broadcasting stations and high-frequency sources. Increase the distance between the transmitter and the device, and use shielded cables for all connections. Gotcha. Thank you for showing your confidence in us by purchasing the Behringer Overdrive Distortion OD300. The effects pedal is ideally suited for electric guitars. Thanks to its high-performance features, you can create state-of-the-art overdrive, distortion, or a combination of both effects. I guess we'll see, won't we? There we go. We have a level control, we have a tone control, we have a drive control, we have a mode control. It's the big thing. You got your big three that you would have on any distortion pedal, and then this one's going to switch it between a softer clipping overdrive and harder clipping distortion mode. And you can kind of blend in between anywhere with that. I might have to play with one of these for myself if I like this pedal. Let's hook it up. There's not much of a rig to speak of here. We're just setting up this distortion pedal with pedal power. Got a tuner in front of it. We're running it to the Fender Frontman 15R, running through a 412. Nothing else fancy about it. And I'm going to use my Ibanez Rose Red as the test guitar. It's still got the Amazon P94 in it. Alright, let's just try this out with everything at 12 o'clock. Level halfway up, tone halfway up, drive, and more importantly, our mode control is halfway between overdrive and distortion. Let's check it out. Sounds good. We're gonna try just overdrive right now. A little softer, a little bit warmer. It's not an insane difference by any means, but it definitely has a little bit more of a classic tone, you know? Let's try it all the way to the distortion side. Absolutely a harder edge. Definitely a little bit more like spitty. And even a little too harsh for certain kinds of riffs, you know? Louder, more top end to it. In fact, I'm going to try this with a little bit less drive and a little bit less tone. I'm going to bring them down to about a 10 o'clock and see what that sounds like. Definitely tames it. starting to look like this thing's got a pretty good range. It was a little bit more of an untamed sort of distortion. If we roll back the tone and roll back the gain a little bit, we get kind of this trashy side of classic sort of sounds. It's certainly fun to play. I think mostly we're going to want to stick with the halfway point. Everything just set to noon. It's got some balance to it. It's got the edge and it's got that thick gain, but it's not falling apart. You'd probably want to roll off some of the tone if you're going for something a little heavier. But the thing is, that option is all there. You know, I'm really actually happy with this. It's a really pretty quality gain pedal. It's going to give you a lot of room to play with, especially if you're building a budget board, especially if you're building your first board or anything like that. This is going to give you a lot of space to work with. I'd also say if you're needing something for, you know, a home studio and you want something with a good chunk of range, this would be worth picking up because you're going to get that range. The concern of the plastic case isn't going to be as big of a deal in a studio space, and you're going to get a lot of different sounds out of this one thing. From what I've heard, I haven't played with a Boss OS2 myself. From what I've heard between them, they are very similar. So if you like the sounds of that, you're going to like the sound of this. It's not terribly noisy either. I think really the primary concern is whether you're going to break this plastic case. Me, I'm not as rough on my pedals. It's going to last a lot longer for me. I know people who would destroy it pretty quickly. It's worth checking out for sure. Now, the last thing that I want to play with is to see what happens when I roll the drive off completely and see if I can get some sort of clean, transparent boost or what happens. First, we have the distortion side, and we've got the gain all the way off. Tone and volume still at 12. Now that even still works pretty much like an overdrive. That's pretty good because you can get a good drive. You can get that kind of buzzy old school sort of distortion. But it cleans up pretty quickly on single notes. It cleans up pretty quickly when you turn the volume down. So let's check out on the overdrive side. And that is very nearly just a clean boost. So you do have the option of using this as a clean boost. You could use it to drive the front of an amp a little bit harder or anything like that. Or you could just bring the overdrive up. This is with the gain barely on, just barely turned on. Pretty good old school distortion. 29 bucks. This thing's probably the best value of overdrive and distortion pedal that I have seen. I've played a lot of different things over the years. You know, I love the DS1, but for 40 to 50 bucks, it's still kind of a two-trick pony. You can use it as a relatively good clean boost, or you can use it as a pseudo fuzz. That's what I get out of it for a higher price point than this OD300. I've tried the Fab distortions for 15, 20 bucks. They're really noisy. You know, I've tried a lot of boosts over the years. I've tried a lot of different distortions over the years. In this price range and for a beginner, I really think that this is the best option right now. I'm going to wrap up the video, and if you like what you see, check this one out next, and hopefully I'll be seeing you around.